Separation anxiety, when your puppy is whining and crying when you're leaving them, especially if they're in a crate or a pen or something like that, can be an incredibly frustrating problem to deal with. If you're like me, you have to work so that you can afford to buy your dogs dog food and buy them treats and buy them toys. And unfortunately, we can't explain that to our dogs. I really wish we could sit down and say, you know what, dog, I will come back. It won't be that long, maybe a couple hours at most. And by leaving, I can afford to buy you all the wonderful things you like. But unfortunately, dogs can't comprehend that. We don't speak the same language. So instead, we just have to teach them how to be comfortable and relaxed when we do leave so that they don't panic and we can safely leave the house without a dog that is going to annoy neighbors by whining and crying and barking in their crate. One thing that's really important to do is teach your dog that their crate is such a great spot to be. So feed meals in their crate or in their pen, feed them Kongs in their crate or in their pen. All the good, wonderful stuff they love happens in that spot. So it's not a scary spot to go that means you're leaving. And practice this when you're around. So for one of my dogs that came to me around 6 months old and had a lot of worry about being separated because he'd been bounced around a little bit, I would put a pen right next to me in the living room and I would sit there and I'd work on stuff and I would give him all sorts of delicious chews and things to hang out with. There was a nice comfy bed in there. He had access to the things he needed and I was really close by. I could stick my hand in if I needed to. And then I started working, being further and further away, and maybe instead of sitting in the living room the whole time, I would go around to the kitchen and put something in the oven or check something in the microwave or something like that, and just slowly lengthen the amount of time that I'm able to go away. Mat training can be really helpful in this too, and that your puppy's going to learn to settle in a spot, and that can help give them a skill to learn to settle when you're out of the picture as well. I'm going to show you a couple examples of how you can work on things both with a crate and with an exercise pen or a short little fenced pen. You can apply this to a room as well if you have a dog safe room, as far as some skills that you can work on to help your puppy be more comfortable being left alone. In this video, we're going to talk about teaching your dog to be comfortable going in a crate, a kennel, a pen, and being left alone away from you. To start, you're going to take your pen or your crate, whatever it is, and you're going to secure the door so that it's open. So for mine, I have it velcroed up. For a lot of your kennels, you're going to be tying or zip tying that door open so it doesn't accidentally close on the dog. And then you're going to work on tossing treats in. Yes, good boy! And rewarding your dog for the decision to follow. Yes, good boy! You want to do this till they're comfortable hanging out in their crate for longer periods of time. Kennel. Good! Kennel. Good! So once your dog can go in the kennel and remain there for a moment, then you can start working on closing the door. And to start with, you're not going to secure the door, you're simply going to close it. So it'll look like this. Kennel. Good job. Kennel. You can do it. Good. Okay. Kennel. Kennel. Good. Okay. Once your dog's comfortable with that, you're going to actually start to secure the door shut. Kennel. Good puppy. Okay. Okay. You can come out. Good job. Kennel. Kennel. Good. Okay, good job. Kennel. You gotta keep your feet inside, sir. Thank you. Good job. Okay. Okay. Good choice. Once your dog's comfortable with that step, you're going to start putting them in their kennel and actually leaving them alone for a moment. And when you first leave them alone, I don't want you leaving the room or anything like that. You're simply going to put them in the kennel, go do something else, walk away a couple steps, come back, put them in a kennel in the kitchen, read or wash dishes, put them in the kennel in the living room, sit and read a book. Something where you're close by and you can periodically drop treats in through the kennel bars so that your puppy can learn to be comfortable with it. Once your puppy's comfortable being in a kennel in the same room as you, then you can start briefly leaving the room. Maybe you're working on cleaning up a room and you're going to grab some items from one room, go put them in another room, and then return. Once all this is comfortable for your puppy, then you can start briefly leaving the house or leaving them alone in their kennel for longer periods of time while you're home. I got Hobbs right when the pandemic started, so I was working from home, and he did not like to be left alone in a kennel. Especially he had some bad feelings with the wire kennels, which is why I switched to this kind of kennel for him, so it looks a little bit different than the wire kennel that he was previously averse to. And that's because he had been put in it and left to kind of cry it out. And you never want to just put your dog in their kennel and let them cry it out, because best case scenario, your dog gets over it, but they don't love their crate. They get over it, they realize it's not the end of the world, but it's not their favorite thing either. And we want this place, if this is where a dog's going to be spending any significant amount of time, to be a place our dog likes. We also don't want to let them cry it out, because you risk your puppy becoming extremely averse to the kennel, just like Hobbs was here from his previous home. Instead of realizing, okay, I don't love this, but I can tolerate it, some dogs will actually panic, and it'll get progressively worse when they are just forced into that situation over and over. Instead, if your puppy does not love their crate, you can do other things in the meantime, such as practicing tethering them, using baby gates, using pens, things like that to help contain them and keep them safe without ruining the crate for them. Right, good boy? Okay, all done. Good puppy. Here you go.